Warning, what you are about to watch contains an honest review of a game that may or may not be a giant pile of shit. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, agents. I'm Mountie and welcome to a Let's Review on For Honor. And if you saw my last review, and I'd say probably about 500 of you did yesterday, I went ahead and took that down because you know what? After I posted it up there and I got some comments back, I realized that it was a pretty shitty review, and you guys deserve an actual honest-to-God review of this game because there's no reason that you guys should go out, buy a game, and yes, there are those of you who watched my review and actually probably decided not to buy it. Well, this one here is actually going to probably make up your mind for you and probably make up the mind for the rest of you. And for all of you people who enjoy this game, you can go ahead and just turn it off now, because if you enjoyed this game, this review is probably not for you. This game review is going to be the most honest game trailer or review that you've probably ever heard. And let's go ahead and start with the graphics. And the graphics are nothing to write home about. It is your run-of-the-mill next-gen graphics. There's nothing blowing you away. There's some shitty effects, like when there's a catapult that gets shot into the air and there's rocks getting blown away. That looks like shit. That is some of the worst effects I've ever seen in a game. Like, literally, if you're going to put out a next-gen game with some shitty special effects, just do yourself the favor. Don't put them in. It makes your game look like shit. And that's part of what makes this look like shit, because not only are the effects shitty, there's no damage being done. There's no damage. There's no holes or anything like that. Yeah, this is the beta, so they could possibly put that shit in at the last minute, but the game comes out tomorrow. That's right. The game comes out tomorrow. If you're on your way to GameStop and you're watching this, turn your car around, go home, and play something else. Play Division, because that shit is better than this. This game is the most repetitive shit I've ever played. You load into a map, one of 3 different game modes, and let me tell you, if you're playing Dominion, it's basically just capture a point, kill a guy, capture a point, kill a guy. And sure, there are some great things about this game, and I'll talk about those later. But I want to get through all the garbage first. Let's talk about all the shit that I hate, because this is really me going off the rails. Because after reading through your comments and stuff, I just figured, why not? Why not, Mountie? Let's just go ahead and give them the honest opinion, because there's no me, bobbing up and down on Ubisoft's nuts. There's nothing like that. They have really, in all honesty, probably blacklisted me at this point, because I have shit on their games. Because why? Because I'm telling the truth about them. Let me tell you, the one thing that I hate about this game, and all you commenters who thought that oh no, these are player hosted. No. There is a part of the game that is on a server. You need a server to host this shit. There is a lot of the map stuff, that's all hosted on a server. Half the time, trying to get into the game, that's all shitty trying to get into the game. Like, that's hosted on a server. Their servers, the worst servers in the world. They pay a dime a dozen for these servers, and they are absolutely some of the worst servers out there. Absolutely terrible. It blows my mind that a company can spend millions of dollars on game development, especially a game like this, who, they just were like, well, let's go ahead and throw in some historically inaccurate bullshit, mix it around in a bowl, and put it in a game. They just went ahead and just decided, well, we don't want to really fork out the money for a good experience for our players, so let's go ahead and throw them on some 56k Bob modem coasted servers and go from there. And that's really what this game is. And it's like, trying to get in a game. When the beta first launched, it took me 20 minutes just to figure out how to get the server to even come up. When I came up, the map screen wasn't there. Like, when I tried to join a party, the party was all crappy. Like, people kept dropping out. You tried to invite someone, they would try to, you get the little spinny thing that said they were loading, even though on your screen it said that you had joined them, and they'd start a game and they'd ditch you, you'd leave the server. It's absolutely terrible. There is nothing about this game that has any merit. Yes, there's a deep system to it. There's a very deep combat system to it. Let me just back up here for a minute. There is a deep combat system that is underlying in this thing, other than just the up, left, and right sword slashing or axe slashing, whichever character you have. But there's not much else to it except for that. There's some combos. Like, this game reminds me of that old Sub-Zero Mortal Kombat game when Mortal Kombat tried to make a side scroller. That's kind of what this game feels like. It feels like a fighting game, except you're not really fighting. Your core moves are limited, and it's really clunky to sit there and try and move. And the locking system, there's there's a lot of things about this game that I really looked forward to. And it's really just absolutely just throw it in the garbage. That's all this is. And so when I come down to it and I want to play a game, I want to play a game that I enjoy. And yes, I could go ahead and I could make video upon video upon video on this thing. And you're probably going to hear some other people are like, this is the greatest game ever made. And sure, if you like sword stuff and there's nothing that I can say to you that is going to make you not like this game. There are some cool things to it. Everybody likes being a samurai. Everybody likes Vikings. Everybody likes knights. That's some cool shit for little kids. When you see your 6-year-old nephew and they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he's like, I want to be a samurai, or I want to be a knight. I want to be a knight in shining armor, or I want to be a Viking because I like rape and pillaging thing. What? Whoa, where did that come from? That is some crazy messed up shit. You need to get that kid some counseling. But this game takes those things and kind of marries them and makes them cool and puts in a bunch of historic stuff that isn't actually historic. Why would anybody put horns on a Viking helmet when it has been thoroughly documented? The internet would go ape shit over it, and that's really what it is. But let's take a step back and start talking about the servers again, because this is a widespread thing. It doesn't matter who makes the game, because at the end of the day, Ubisoft is forking out the money for these servers. And you know how good the servers are? You know how good the servers are because you've all experienced Ubersoft games. They're not Uber. They're Ubisoft. Might as well be Boobisoft at that point, because this game wins the booby prize of games that have come out lately. And we all witnessed it with Ghost Recon, which I'm going to buy Ghost Recon. I am not going to buy For Honor. It is in my GameFly queue, but I am not going to buy For Honor. I think that if I ever bought it, it would have to be the most amazing game ever for me to buy this game. And yes, I do like the elements that they put in. It's very appealing, but it's not executed well. It is executed poorly, and that is by the simple fact that they didn't hire a single martial arts expert to come in and actually look over the moves and look over the stuff and be like, okay, well, historically accurate stuff, and there's no chopping off arms or legs. If you're gonna swing a sword at somebody and hit them in the arm, I expect that arm to fall off. The only thing you can chop off is a head. What is the deal with that? Why is it that you can chop off a head but you can't chop off a hand, chop off a leg, or something like that? If I chopped off a leg, yeah, they might hobble around a little bit, but they're gonna die. But there's no reason for you to not put that stuff into this game. If you're gonna go as far as to have a head chop motion, chop off an arm, chop off a leg. But no, what you guys have done is made it so there are 3 areas to attack. And this is insane, because this is actually your logo. Your loading screen at the bottom right hand corner of the screen is your loading screen. And what's really weird is that loading screen is actually the hitboxes for what you can swing and block. So you can only block left, right, and up. And maybe this is just your way of telling the gamers that they're not smart enough to actually have a down block or a down swing or something like that. Something to where you could sweep the legs or, and knock them down or something like that. You added in a throw button, which half of the characters' throws are absolutely terrible. There's one throw in there, I think it's the Viking, and he grabs you and he runs and pile drives you into the ground. Playing the Peacekeeper, they do this grab where they stab you in the side and then you do this little flip. And sure, there are other moves where, you can throw them to the side or throw them off a cliff or something like that. But let's talk about that. Nothing is cheesier than going into a battle and getting tossed off of a cliff or getting tossed into the water. Who thought of that? I've been thrown off so many cliffs in this game by some cheesy ass AI that it's ridiculous. I've won. I've also won my fair share of games by pushing people off a cliff. There's a little bit of pandering going on here, where they don't think that you're smart enough to go ahead and realize that you could just push somebody off a cliff or do something like that. But there's some cheesy shit. Half the time, the roll doesn't work. Like, if you don't have enough stamina and you try to roll out of the way, you can't roll. Like, there's a lot of stuff in this game that makes absolutely no sense, like the dodge mechanism. I should press the button and dodge. I shouldn't have to wait for them to swing to dodge. I should be able to dodge anytime I want. And that is some ridiculous shit when it comes down to it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just cut it off here because I could rant for another 10 minutes about it, but you know what? You don't want to hear me rant for another 10 minutes, or maybe you do, because if you're at this point, you're still watching this video. And that amazes me as well, because you've actually enjoyed my rant enough to actually sit through watching a For Honor video. And this is probably the only For Honor video that I'm going to make, and that's it. So go ahead and leave your, the one guy that leaves his negative Nancy comments down, go ahead and leave that shit down in the comments section like you always do, you little shit troll. And, but you're watching this video, so you obviously keep coming back for more. So go ahead and leave your negative Nancy, because you're going to buy this game. You're going to drop $60 on it. You probably dropped the $99 for the special edition, where you get absolutely legacy items, where your legacy cool items or some crap like that. But anyways, that's my time. I'm cutting it off there. I'm going to go play some Conan Exiles, because that actually is a fun game where I'm actually having fun with other players. So let's go ahead. We're just going to cut it off there. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, drop a like on it. Drop a like for shitty servers and being called out, because that shit is wrong. You guys shouldn't have to put up with shitty servers. You guys shouldn't have to put up with hosting servers. Like, that shit is wrong as well. What makes Ubisoft think that they can go ahead and put the iota of being a server on somebody else, yet they don't want to, because they don't want to go ahead and fork over the money for an actual server for stability in the game. So if somebody's hosting this game and you leave, then everybody gets screwed. Everybody gets screwed. Or if the host has a bad connection, you get screwed. Why would you do that? Why is this not 2017, where most companies like EA and all these companies have taken away the right to host your own server? Back when I was originally playing games, there was no server companies putting up servers. There was no hosting, servers on your local machine or on your local internet. You had to put up a server yourself, or you had to pay an astronomical amount, or you had to have a dedicated PC to go ahead and host your own servers. Those were the days, because people could, and then they have mod support. In a lot of these games, they could benefit from some mod support. And this game, sure, it's probably in the same area as League of Legends, in terms of cooperativeness or competitiveness or whatever it is that's going to be, what they're trying to go for. They have a lot of work to do on this game, and in order to not make it as repetitive as it is. But anyways, thank you so much. I'm going to have a lot more of these shitty reviews for you, because you know what? I am done giving you these really half-assed neutral reviews, because I think you deserve the truth. And if I like a game, I'm going to tell you I like a game, and then I'm going to talk about all the shitty things about that game, like I just did with this one. So if you like shitty, run-of-the-mill graphics, you like repetitive gameplay, go out and buy this game. If not, put it in your GameFly queue. Go ahead and rent it or something like that. If you didn't play the free open beta, then that's your fault. That's not my fault. You had a whole weekend to go ahead and play that, and you could have done it, and you could have witnessed what I witnessed myself, where you couldn't get into a server, you couldn't party with your friends, and then they fixed that shit and you could, and that's just what it is. So thank you very much for watching this. Subscribe if you like to listen to me rant about reviews and stuff like that, because this is going to go on, and I'm going to try, and if there's a shitty game out there and you want me to review it, post that down in the comments, because I will put a shitty review on it. Because if I don't like it, I don't like it, and I'm going to tell you about it, because you guys deserve the truth and the honest to God truth of what these games are, because there's no more of this shit with the Rainbow Six when that was released, or the Division when that was released, where they're releasing these shitty games and getting you to buy them and then going and making them good a year later. There's no more of that. They need to be called out right now for all of their making a game and then giving you half a game, making you pay for some shitty DLC that isn't really DLC, and then a game like The Witcher 3 comes out and they actually give you DLC and make you realize what shitty DLC looks like. So thank you very much. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button for more DLC. If you don't like this kind of review, that's cool too. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to unsubscribe. These aren't for you if you don't like hearing me rant about it. Yes, I did see a comment the other day that that I'm a little scary when I get angry and worked up. But you guys deserve it. You guys deserve to know the truth, and this is the truth. Don't buy this game if you don't like shitty games and you don't like run-of-the-mill graphics and you don't like repetitive gameplay over and over again, doing the same stuff. A lot of my friends like this game. I didn't. I really didn't like this game, especially when there was shitty players in there and they were little shitty people. And so that's just my opinion, and this is my opinion. So you can either take it or leave it. I don't make your choice as to whether or not you buy the game. I just tell you what I think about it, and that's it. The game's repetitive. That's it. It's a hack and slash repetitive game. And yes, learn the characters, learn the combos, and you will dominate the game. Anyways, for all of us here at a Let's Review, I'm Mountie Carl, and we'll leave the light on for you. Agent out.